Where last we left our heroes, Denir the Tabaxi Wizard, Wolfgang the Angelic Warlock, Nara the Drow Sorceress, and Asmo the Sneckman Fighter had made their way to Lon Othroned, the haven city of the elves, hidden deep within the realm of the feywild. They made it into the Arcanos Academy for the Arcane, where they were tested and taught various factors of magic that this society has been able to develop over the years. And eventually, Denir and Wolfgang were guided into the essentially makeshift prison / study cell that held Fezziwig Grinspire, better known as the Jester of Bordeaux, who is seeking to find a cure for the curse from the being that has attached itself to him. With very few results found in the physical interviews between the entity that is attached to him and the man himself, Denir and Wolfgang were ushered into essentially the central mage spire of the academy by a man presenting himself as Arcanos. The rest of the party followed suit and were eventually told that Arcanos himself was actually quite a bit younger than presented due to his study of chronomancy. He accidentally blasted a bit of time out of himself. Taking a fascination with Denir, Arcanos wanted to see exactly what Denir's studies of dreams had done for him. And when Denir postured that he wished to somehow find a way to manipulate the realm of dreams to the point of godhood, Arcanos seemed to have taken a shine to that. Deep within Denir's mind palace, with a glitter in his eye, Arcanos said just 2 words: "Show me." And with a snap, Denir, you found yourself hurtling through a deep, black void, lights glittering all around you as if distant stars in a very, very full sky. Everything spins around you as you feel like you just got shunted straight out of your mind palace and into the open void of the dreamscape.
Does this seem like anything? The last time that I went deep into the dream web, when I was pulled towards Garrick, does this feel similar? Or does it feel different?
It feels similar in the sense that you feel like you just got shoved through something, but different in the sense that you were not the one doing the shoving. Right now, you are just hurtling, free-falling through this vast void, these various distant glittering lights sparkling around you.
Is there just so there's only stars? I don't see anything else.
You don't see anything else. More so, you're also tumbling very much, so it's all kind of spinning around you, which is odd because you don't necessarily feel the momentum of the spin, but you see the spin. The entire sky is becoming this like swirl, this spinning pattern of lights. You can kind of feel the ethereal wind kind of whipping through your whiskers, but you don't really get a sense of direction.
Mm-hmm.
As you continue to plummet, for lack of a better word, as there does not seem to be any proper direction, you can feel your back growing warmer. The sky around you starts to... the lights begin to disappear little at a time, and you're suddenly greeted with a blue sky as you feel your back land on this very warm patch of sand. You can hear the ocean start to cress around you. You smell salt in the air, the smell of it's this very nostalgic sort of tropical air. A smell you haven't had since since before you found the rock. As you open your eyes, you can see the swaying leaves of a palm tree above your head as you lay in the shadow.
So, this is where you sent me, eh? Denir slowly. He lays there for just a second, almost taking a moment to enjoy his surroundings before he carefully pulls himself back to his feet, brushing the sand off of his cloak as he takes a moment to gather himself and determine where exactly he is. If this tropical paradise is familiar or if it's something completely new.
Go ahead and give me a roll plus smarts.
That's a 9.
It does feel very familiar. You feel like you recognize this beach. You don't see any familiar creatures or life forms around you.
Mm-hmm.
But this does feel very warm and comforting to you. You hear a voice from behind you. I didn't push you anywhere. This is just where you decided to be.
Makes sense. I mean, this is a place that I've wanted to go back to for so long. Almost like my subconscious sent me here.
It seems nice.
It was. If you decide to leave Lono Throne, I'll have to show it to you.
Maybe I'll take you up on that someday.
He gives a little bit of a smile. And for at least a moment, he reaches down, he pulls his boots off, and he just enjoys the feeling of the sand between his toe beans.
You feel at peace. To the point that you feel this old memory, it's a song. A song from long ago, just this very pleasant beat. Kind of starts very quietly in the back of your mind. It starts to build as you think more on it, to the point that you kind of can't stop yourself from humming the melody.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden you realize this song isn't inside your head, it's all around you. You see the waves begin to kind of ripple around you. It seems we have a visitor.
Really now?
The waves begin to ripple with the sound of the song in this wave form. It begins to shimmer. You can make out this shape almost at the center of this. It seems a little bit brighter than the rest. Go ahead and give me a roll plus strange.
Ooh. That's an 8.
You swear that in this ripple there's a creature, this little tiny creature at the very center of this melodically pulsing wave.
Almost like the waves are coming from this creature.
Yes, but not so much the waves of the ocean. These are ripples in the air, this melodic sense. You can almost see the sound.
The ear begins to approach slowly.
As you
Greetings!
approach,
You try to call out to it.
as you speak to it, the creature stops. It sits there glowing. This line that was once waves is now just this straight line, is beginning to shrink down around the more brightly colored creature at its center. it doesn't seem to move. It seems very curious that you noticed it.
I find it a bit strange, but welcome to find somebody else here. Do you travel the plains of dreams often?
The tail of the creature begins to kind of warp and move, and you see it kind of hook around the side, and you can feel this warmth as you see the tail of it just kind of pass into your temple. Around you, you feel this, not so much presence, but this very, it's kind of like the warmth of a vinyl record's hiss, kind of shooting through your body.
Mm-hmm.
You can see me.
Denir gives a couple nods. I can.
It's not something I'm incredibly used to. Hello.
Good afternoon.
What manner of being are you?
I'm a tabaxi from the waking world. When I walk these lands, I call myself Somnium Vagus. Emotions behind him. Accompanying me is Arcanos.
As you gesture around or look around, you notice that Arcanos is nowhere to be seen.
Ah, so he's probably gone off exploring, or... Never mind that last part, then. He's wandered off.
You're a strange one. Most creatures from the waking world don't pay any attention to me. Barely even notice me, though. Often, when I'm around, I do hear them say that's catchy. So I guess that's a name.
Ah, yes. It's nice to meet you, Catchy. I take it that you're an entity of music, correct?
I am an earworm.
Ah. I've heard I've heard legends, but I thought that earworms were just a figure of speech.
Maybe to you we are. But around here, it's what I am.
True. We are in the realm of dreams, and anything can be possible here.
As you say that, the ocean in front of you begins to kind of stretch out, kind of Inception style. You start to see it kind of like fold up in front of you as if there's this massive wave coming, but it begins to kind of overtake the sky. The sky itself begins to bubble out and move towards your east and west horizons as from horizon to horizon, you get almost this halo donut effect of the world stretching around you.
Ooh.
I suppose that's true. As it does, the ocean above you begins to darken, and it begins to rain down. But the rain that falls is not that of water, but plotting at your feet is these very thick drops of blood.
The smile on Denir's face slowly starts to fade, and he starts getting a very familiar feeling. And he starts getting a little bit defensive.
It's a oddly familiar feeling. Painfully familiar. as the water that's raining from the sky begins to cascade in front of you, cascade around you. The sand beneath your feet has disappeared beneath this now rising tide of blood. You feel yourself shudder as a boiling pool of the blood before you begins to ripple. And
Denir's
slowly
gonna put himself between Ketchy and this boiling, bubbling pool of blood.
Ketchy begins to kind of like hover and float back, kind of taking taking note of the situation, kind of hovering back towards you. As the blood before you begins to kind of bubble over, rising out from this bubbling pool, Arkolf, what would you say appears before Denir?
It appears to be a roiling mass of shadows, formless, spinning ever around themselves.
And so you've attracted another. The voice of Arcanos echoes through your mind and all around you.
Such a saccharine scent. Who are you, little mortal?
Somnium Vagus. Are you a servant of Asmodeus?
Asmodeus? No.
Lenny, can I roll my my empathic ability to get a feel on this thing to determine if it is a threat or just a manifestation of a nightmare?
Absolutely.
I see. That is strange. That's a 7.
You're having a slightly difficult time getting a read on this thing. It doesn't appear to be actively hostile at the moment.
Interesting.
What is it you seek, Somnium Vagus?
I seek knowledge. I seek the power to protect those that I hold dear. The power of dream and the power of nightmare.
Nightmare. How apt a word.
There cannot be one without the other. One cannot know joy unless they know great hardship. One cannot have a peaceful dream without knowing what it is to know fear and the nightmare. Fear and hope, two sides of the same coin. If one is the
Then
real
tell
one,
me, O Somnium Vagus, what is it that you fear?
there are many things. And for a moment, for the slightest moment, I assume that this... So, for the slightest moment behind Denir, there would be a flicker, almost a manifestation for just a moment of Denir. But instead, the eyes would be glowing red. His muzzle would be... There would be no fur. There would instead be warped, misshapen flesh stretching over the mouth. It was a almost as though Denir had become a creature of the bleeding god. But as it flickers for just a moment, Denir glances at it, narrows his eyes, and the image completely fades.
You fear corruption of the self. Losing yourself to what you deem darkness. But there's something more there. Something more tangible. Now, Lani, would I need to do a read on Denir to get a feel for his fears?
You can go ahead and give me an empath roll. That would be roll plus smarts.
Ready? That is a 9.
Your body begins to warp. These twisting, gnarled roots begin twisting into this kind of chest plate pauldron-like fashion. And your head begins to take on the form of a squid-like entity. Lanky limbs, jet black. His body, this mass of... it looks as if it's like a breastplate of twisting roots of a gnarled old tree. White of bark.
Denir's eyes widen for a moment, and if I understand this, is it like a humanoid version of the bleeding god symbol, or is it like this mishmash of mind flare, the bleeding god in a humanoid form?
It seems to be that mishmash, this amalgamation. There we go. He updated his.
Oh, that's so good. Oh, I love it.
I can turn those on.
Oh, that's great.
This amalgamation of the bleeding god's roots churning around this chest plate with the head of a mind flare appears to take form.
I believe I understand.
Do you?
He motions a bit behind him. Light. He motions forward. Dark. You are an entity of nightmare.
I am your fears made manifest. This form of your heart's choosing. I am Phobos.
Phobos, you see the tail of the earworm begin to stretch as it hooks between the, kind of linking your head and Denir's head. I'm catchy.
Hello, Catchy.
Hello.
Yeah, Catchy's an earworm.
I am an earworm.
And I am Fear. Nice to meet you.
Indeed. Nice to meet you as well.
This... I have to admit, this is a very strange meeting, but not an unwelcome one. He's every so often there's this wary look at Phobos. Almost as though he's willing to work with him, but there's a little bit of almost wariness, caution to him. But then again, when dealing with one's own fear, where wouldn't there be?
Oh, if a mind flayer's face could smile every time you glance at Phobos, he would smile at you.
You see his face tentacles just sort of chitter a little.
So disturbing.
Many creatures such as these exist in this realm. I haven't really taken the time to catalog them, but I also don't spend much time here. You hear the voice of Arcanos echo through your head, Denir.
Denir gives a nod. I would imagine so. I mean, where else would a nightmare dwell than in the realm of dreams? So
where indeed?
The question is, Denir continues to look around the surrounding areas.
All around you, you see the, like the ever-expansive pool of blood beneath your feet, the dark skies. You don't see the white tree that you're so used to seeing in this area.
Not seeing the tree, he'll relax a little bit, but almost instinctively, with the pool of blood around, his cloak of stars slowly starts shifting to that of a cloak of red again. Almost feeling that uneasy feeling slowly starting to manifest its way and making a physical representation on his form.
So, where do you go from here? The question echoes through your head.
That is a very good question. The last time that I found a place, the last time that I wandered through dreams, found a symbol that would lead me to the next place that I was needed. Looking around near the endless expanse and almost going back and almost feeling nostalgia, some twisted form of nostalgia from a number ago. He picks a direction and he slowly begins walking.
Go ahead and give me a roll plus strange as you choose your direction.
Okie doke. That's a 9.
Oddly enough, as you choose your direction, you begin walking. About 10 yards away is this pedestal with a hammer on it.
He's going to take a look at the hammer. Look at what's on the pedestal.
Pedestal has a etching on it. Seems it's carved in a common tongue. Almost looks like your handwriting. Break in case of emergencies.
I mean, he's in a pool of blood with a mind flare right behind him, and there's nothing else about. I wonder.
So it would seem.
Denir's going to take a moment. He's going to close his eyes. He's going to focus. And he's going to attempt to see if he can shift the world of dreams around him almost to... He's going to try to rid himself of the blood, the darkness, and all the corruption around him first to see if he can do that. And if he can't, he'll smash the altar.
All right, go ahead and give me a roll plus strange as you attempt to alter the world around you.
That's a 13.
Sure enough, as you sit and focus, realizing that all of this is coming from your subconscious, then you must have power here. The blood water beneath your feet begins to, like, emanating from your feet out, starts to turn into this very nice cerulean blue. And Phobos, as you are floating, you're kind of like hovering amidst the water. Beneath your feet, the water also starts to permeate this cerulean blue until you see that you're kind of standing at the center once again of this beautiful tropical lagoon. The sky above begins to clear up. The hammer still sits on the pedestal in front of you, but the world itself clears. Oh, this is much nicer. You hear Ketchy's voice kind of echoing through your minds.
Fear is useful. Fear is important. Fear keeps you alive. But you can't let yourself be ruled by it. And he picks up the hammer and he smashes the altar.
Go ahead and give me a roll plus strange.
Okie doke. That's a 10.
As you smack at the altar, the hammer seems to stop just moments before it would hit the altar, and you see a massive fissure in the world appear before you. Almost as if you just smacked the wall of reality itself. Through the cracks and fissures, you can see the stars once again of the outside dreamscape.
So, you two want to take a little bit of a trip?
I have nothing better to do.
Should be interesting.
Yeah, Phobos, this is the first time you've seen a mortal creature literally dictate its own dreams to the effect that it can leave its own subconscious.
Especially one who is saying such proper things about fear.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Phobos would have what passes for an impressed look for a mind flayer.
Always hard to tell.
His eyes are just a bit wider. Tentacles a bit more perched.
And with that, Denir allows his somewhat interesting companions to accompany him before he allows them to basically descend into the depths of the fissure.
Phobos, you're not unfamiliar with traveling between dreams. This realm to you is almost basically the same as, like, somebody. It kind of feels to you something akin to what the mortals would call swimming. You just kind of float out into the essence of the dreamscape. Ketchy also seems to have no issue here, floating around. You see him just kind of squiggling around every now and again, making upbeat kind of sound sort of ring through as he moves. But you once again, you kind of pass through this portal that you've opened up and enter the void of the dreamscape.
Is there some sort of roll I could do that could determine what that tropical island may have meant to Denir?
Sure. Go ahead and roll.
If it was home or something like that.
Yeah, that would be a roll plus strange for your empathy.
That is a 10.
No doubt this space to Denir is a place of comfort, a place of nostalgia. You're not sure if he still deems it home, but it is a place of very fond memories, a place that is very close to his heart.
Are you quite certain you wish to leave the comfort?
I ask that myself every single day.
Denir, now floating before you, you do see the child Arcanos just kind of sitting on a bright purple ward. He's kind of sitting cross-legged on it, just kind of floating out in the distance, kind of hovering towards you. Wouldn't be much of a test if you stayed in it.
Yeah. Plus, all the good that I've done, everything that I've been, everything that I've done, it would mean nothing if I just stayed home. As much as I wish that I stayed home, nothing would have gotten done. I would have probably followed my father, been a merchant, been a sailor, and just... How many people would have died without it?
Are you not afraid of what became of your family when you left home?
Now, I will say this, Phobos, you know for a fact that one of Denir's biggest fears is what happened to his family. Namely, he fears what will happen if Solomon finds his family. That's one of his biggest fears, and that's one of the reasons why he's gone such great lengths to stay away from home, lest he draws somebody's eye to the island. And with your empathy rolls and how well you've been rolling so far for inciting him, I would say that you would know that.
Lani.
Mm-hmm.
The skin tone on Phobos. Could we have that slowly shift to Solomon's in response to Denir's fears?
Sure. Your flesh that was once slightly kind of a brackish violet starts to become this wispy, thick black smoke. And your eyes begin to glow just the slightest bit brighter as you get this image of Solomon in your head.
Such exquisite fears you have.
You see Arcanos' ear twitch a little. Ah, perfect. So, are you ready for your test?
I was born ready.
He ponders for a moment as you say that. Okay. I doubt that, but okay.
Well, it's a saying back home.
All right, follow me. And he starts shooting through the galaxy.
And I will attempt to follow, even if I have to doggy paddle my way.
Go ahead and roll plus strange, as you have flown through the dreamscape before.
That's a 10.
You have very little issue keeping up with him, actually, as you focus up your cloak. You begin to don your starry cloak begins to glisten, and you start shooting through, following the bright purple disc at the foot of Arcanos. It does not take long to come up to a bubble in this space. These stars, now that you realize, each and every one of them is a person dreaming. As you come up upon this bubble, you see a dark-haired man kind of pacing around a somewhat familiar-looking room. This it looks like an inn suite. Arcanos sits hovering like kind of just outside the filament of this bubble.
Denir watches the man for a few moments. Is the man familiar in any way?
Right now you're kind of getting a glimpse of the top of his head and the back of his neck. His clothing is somewhat familiar. Go ahead and give me a roll plus smarts.
All right. 13.
As you observe him, you look at the clothing. He turns and you see the side of his face. It's It's Fezziwig. Moreover, the room that you're seeing, the reason it looked familiar to you, it looks exactly like almost exactly like the suite that you guys stayed in at Coldreach. So, this is what I've been having problems with. I can get into his mind just fine, I can poke around, but unfortunately, the thing that's in there, pretty easy to detect me. Pretty easy to find me. And it is strong enough to shunt me out.
Oh, that's never a fun feeling.
No, might be strong enough to do other things as well. But I figure if there was a two-man team on this one, somebody can go in, somebody else can monitor to make sure it doesn't go the worst. This might be the only way we can find what it's planning.
Denir gives a nod.
You claim to have a lot more experience in this magic. It's, again, something that I've worked on, but nothing that I've dedicated my time to.
Makes sense.
So if you want to reach that next level, this is how you prove it. Do something that hasn't been done.
And with that, Denir's going to float forward and put his hand on the bubble and try to sink in.
As you push your way into the sphere, it offers a bit of resistance. It's this kind of... It feels like a rubbery membrane at first that you start pushing through. And as your head goes through, you can hear a muttering. What do I do now? What do I do now? Isn't the answer obvious? A voice echoes from all around you. You have to kill them. They won't let you leave. And if you can't leave, you'll die. I know, but there has to be another way. Oh, but it's been so long. It's been so long since you've given me blood. Remember, it won't be long. The more blood you spill, the stronger I'll become. The more strong I become, the stronger you'll become, until you can finally see her again. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up! Testy today. Come now. Open the chest. You know. It's the only way out. It's the only way through. They lock the gates. They have the key. You hear a scuffle outside the window. The kind of the shuttering of a door. You see Miguel and Magnus as they kind of shake hands and they split up. And look at that! They're not even together tonight. How serendipitous. You know what must be done. Fine. Fine! He walks over to the chest, and he dons the jester mask.
At that point, could Denir emerge into the room?
Absolutely. Do you wish to make yourself known?
I think he will.
What?
The question, Fezziwig. All this darkness you're bringing into the world. Would your sister want to see you after all that?
The moment you speak to him, the world sort of shakes. The walls begin to kind of warble a bit. What? Do you have your mask on?
I'd say for this, no. He could straight up, Denir would not put on the mask for this, since it is Fezziwig and it is so close to him.
Wait, we just... How did you get in here? We just met... No. No, I know you. Your name is Denir. We've met... I'm dreaming.
Denir gives a slow nod. Your path takes a long turn. But answer me this, Fezziwig. You could go out there and you could put a blade in his chest. But would your sister look at you the same way if you did all that and she knows what you did?
He shoots you this, like, daggerous glare as he walks over and just kind of sits down at the foot of the bed.
I've lost people just like you. I know of friends who lost the closest people that they could possibly have. I've seen those loved ones get raised from the dead and used as weapons against them. Let her rest. Let her enjoy the time that she has where she is.
You know nothing of the pain that I have felt.
Oh, I know exactly of the pain that you felt. Denir holds up a hand, and in it, he manifests the journal. I know the battle that goes inside of your mind. I know what is beckoning you into the darkness, because it's beckoned me just the same. Promises of power, promises of bringing me to places that I could see those that are no longer there. Promises of being able to save people, that if I don't give in, that they will die. It's haunting, Fezziwig. It's terrifying how convincing it can be. How in your darkest moment it seems like a hand pulling from the darkness, ready to pull you out of the pit that you're in.
Do not judge my path. If you have that book, then you know the path has been laid. You know where I am. You know that blade has already been sunk into that chest.
There's still ways that you can help. There's still ways that you can pull yourself away from this fate. There's still ways that despite what's happened to you, despite what you've been through, there's still ways that you can do good, Fezziwig. There's information that you have that is vital to us. If you don't help, everyone will die. You've lost a sister. How many others are going to lose their sisters? How many of those are going to lose their brothers, fathers, mothers? You can still come back.
Go ahead and give me a roll plus charm.
Okie doke. That's a 7.
Even if that were true, even if I could somehow take back everything that I've done, to see her again, to bring her back, even if it means giving my own. The world once again begins to shake. This. Is that your doing?
Denir shakes his head slowly. It doesn't want us to speak, Fezziwig. It knows that me being here can seal its fate. It knows that me being here is an affront to its being. It knows that I could save you. It knows that Wolfgang can save you, Asmo can save you, Nara can save you. It
knows.
knows.
Nara?
You haven't met her yet. You will. It knows what good can be done, and it wants to stop us. He offers a hand, Fezziwig.
Go ahead and give me another roll plus charm.
Come on. 8, getting better.
Whatever. I've tried everything else. And he begins to reach for you. And suddenly, he's gone. A hole beneath him swallows him through the floor, kind of like sucking him down.
Can I go after him?
The hole that swallowed him up immediately spits up this bust of a giant familiar face. Oh, look who's playing around in my toy chest.
Yes. You know me. I tend to go places where I shouldn't be.
You're not alone.
Can I?
It's kind of glancing around the room looking for something.
Looking for something? Missing something?
No. You aren't alone. I can feel you. Phobos, you can feel its words kind of like shudder through you. This is a being of immense power.
Can Phobos show himself then?
If you choose to.
Then Phobos will appear. How very perceptive of you.
Oh. A nightmare creature. Quaint.
You seem to work on similar terms, using fear to manipulate.
I mean, it does the job, doesn't it?
For ill ends, you prey on weakness. You do not seek to improve.
Manner of perspective, I suppose. But yes. It is more fun when they're frightened. You see this hand start to form out of the bust. And out of the air, boop, it plucks a little wriggling worm. There's the other one. Not much of a talker, this one, eh?
Doesn't need to be. I'm the one with the most experience with you. With him.
Ah, that's right. So you are, so you are. What was it you were fed? The face begins to morph into this tree-like shape. How droll.
If that's the case, then why not tell me the real story? I'm your favorite, after all.
You truly are, and you continue to amuse me. Finding your way right here into my play place. I believe we will have some fun. And here's where we'll take a quick break. Hey guys, Lani here. I just wanted to thank you for rolling with us. And if you wanted to catch us live, you can do so almost every Monday at 5 o'clock Central Time over on twitch.tv/Lanipator. Now, back to the show. The hand that is holding on to Akechi just sort of like flicks it and sort of flies through the air for a moment before kind of catching itself and rolling and slinking down, like kind of trying to hide behind the two of you.
Hey, Lani.
Mm-hmm.
Could I do a roll to see if this entity has any fear in it?
Interesting. Go ahead and give me an empathy roll. Roll plus strange.
Yeah, 9.
The creature itself, it's so incredibly hard to read. It's this being of chaos and corruption. As you try to get a read on it, you get these like varying, fluctuating entities. You do see the big hollowed white tree. You get these images of these roots sort of like wrapping slowly around the face of the person that is seeing it. You see this image of a massive hammer being wielded by this massive bald ball of muscle coming down swiftly. You see a platinum-plated dragon breathing white fire. And you see these glowing white eyes in the darkness. Slowly being surrounded by stars. But that's about all you get from this thing, are just these like immense flashes of things that you're not sure if it's afraid of, but it certainly caused it discomfort.
Duly noted.
So, seeing that you're here in my domain, perhaps we should make a game of it. You can try to escape my grasp, and I can try to hold you until the world slowly begins to kind of like shake and shudder again. Until time runs out.
Interesting. And what happens when time runs out?
I think you'll know. In fact, it seems the time started as soon as you entered. Another thing I'll have to thank you for, I'm sure. So shall we begin? As the boards on the walls begin to pop and crack, you hear them creak with this old, gnarling sound as the floor begins to curl up, almost like two hands, as the boards begin to curl, like kind of cupping over you, trying to take grasp of you.
So, just to make sure I understand, the objective is just to escape the room, correct?
Your objective is your own. He's saying, hey, basically the game he's trying to play is like, hey, you can try to escape this headspace. I'm going to try to keep you in it. So it's not really the room. And remember, the room doesn't technically exist.
Yeah, it's just a bubble.
You are in a completely different world right now. The world of Fezziwig's mind.
The first thing can I make a strange roll to almost forcibly stabilize the world around us as he's trying to warp it and corrupt it?
Sure. What would you like to have happen to the room? Is your goal just to stop the boards from curling, or are you trying to put it back to what it was?
Take it back to exactly what it was.
Okay, go ahead and give me a roll plus strange.
Basically, I want to show him that I can play this game too. 15, critical.
Ooh, with 2 6s. Sure enough, As the face begins to kind of like fall back down into the ground, the room begins to reorient itself. Kind of as you like just sort of wave your hand and force it back yourself.
I can play this game too.
This will be fun. Poof! The lights go out. You are standing in a void.
Ooh. He's going to create a glow around them, at least to determine if they're in a bigger building or if it's just an endless void.
It's easy enough to create like a luminous ball. Sure enough, you're standing on what appears to be a solid black surface, slightly mirrored. You can see the reflection of the lights and some of the reflection of your silhouette in it. Does not appear to be any wall or ceiling within the discernible bubble of the light.
Mm-hmm.
How far does your control extend?
That part I haven't quite discovered yet. It's more than a normal person's control. I can go from dream to dream. I can manipulate the dream world around me. I can even change my own form. My own magic that I wield is much stronger in here than outside.
The sea of dreams is ever mutable. Use your imagination. Test your limits.
So it's just us in an empty void. Well, I'm going to try to... I know that Desi got tossed away, but I want to see if I can reach out with my mind and bring him back to me. Okay. I've already somewhat proven to the jester that I can hang with him here. I want to see what else I can do.
Go ahead and give me a roll plus strange.
That's a 10.
You don't feel like you can pull him directly to where you are.
Mm-hmm.
But you do feel like you can bring yourself to where he is. You start to think back through shared memories you have with him.
Mm-hmm.
Spaces that you and Fezziwig, or you and the Jester, had been at the same time. Where does your mind go?
It goes to the mountaintop. It goes to the mountains near Cold Reach. The first battle with the Jester of Bordeaux.
You start to hear the sound of snow. You begin to feel cold. The whipping sound of the blizzard kind of swirling around you. You remember the moon in the sky, and then you see before you the battle that you fought, the giant Asmo swiping at the many forms of the Jester of Bordeaux. You can see it's almost as if it's kind of at the end of a tunnel. The wind starts to kind of blow through. As you walk out, you stand at the edge of the battle, watching as the memory seems to unfold. You reach the climax of the battle where you feel like you had him on the back foot. And with that one last wisp, he disappears. but you're able to follow him. Because where you popped out is where he disappeared too. They're stronger than I thought. They could make for good allies.
No, you don't need anyone but me.
Hell of a lot of good you've done me so far.
What? Are you still holding out hope? Holding out hope that the man of black and white will do my job for you?
Maybe he will. They say he has the power to bring back the dead.
Foolish boy. Go. Rest for now. Perhaps you'll be strong enough yourself soon.
He seems not to have noticed you, kind of oblivious to the fact that you exist right now.
Are you honestly going to listen to his lies and let him seduce you into a power that will only draw you deeper into oblivion?
Once you make yourself known to him, once again, the world begins to warble and shake. He strikes a defensive position, then notices that you are in a different garb.
Hello again, Fezziwig.
I zoned out. This is a dream, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
He seems to have no memory of your last conversation.
Yeah. You're back the first time that we came face to face with your friend. I use that term loosely.
He holds the mask in his hand. How'd you get in here? Are you in my mind?
Yes. I'm in your dreams.
I guess that was a rhetorical question.
A little bit. I'm here because I want to help you, Fezziwig.
He goes and he sits down on a rock.
I'll move over and I'll sit down on a rock opposite him, and of course there's a couple various rocks scattered around for Ketchy and for Phobos. But he leans forward slowly, pulls back the hood.
Lani.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be possible to keep Phobos hidden for now, perhaps with stealth?
Absolutely. Go ahead and give me a roll plus strange to keep your self hidden. Right now, you're appearing to Fezziwig as just kind of a sort of a dusty, dark cloud.
11.
And with that, you blend yourself with Denir's shadow to the point where you are entirely indiscernible to him.
Now, I do have a question above game.
Sure.
I know I'm free to help, but am I also free to hinder?
Oh, of course.
Duly noted.
It pains me that I'm used to things in my mind now. God, I wish I wasn't used to this.
You're not the only one that he's, how do you say, been courting, so to say. He's made the same offers to me.
With that, he actually stands up and grabs you by the, kind of like the collar of your vestments, just kind of pulls you in. What contract did you make with him? Are you here to torment me as well?
I've made no contract. I refused every single offer he's made to me. I've seen what he's done to you. I wanted no part of it. Fezziwig, you stopped me from making that deal.
Go ahead and make a charm roll.
12.
You can see these kind of tears kind of well in his eye a bit. I'm glad it's done some good. And he kind of pushes you back down onto where you were sitting.
Did I make a roll to discern Fezziwig's fears?
Absolutely. Plus strange.
8.
The images that pop before your eyes, the images that kind of swim through your mind. You see a pale, a fair, very comely elven woman lying in a pool of blood. Tatters of rags around her. But permeating, kind of like flashing among that image, you see the grinning face of a porcelain jester mask.
Alright.
Your path goes far deeper than this, Fezziwig. We've run into you numerous times. We've done this dance numerous times. And every single time, we want to break this deal. We want to help you. We know some of its fears. We know the things it despises. But what we need to know, what does it want? What is its game plan? What is its final play? You're the only one that can help us, Fezziwig. Because you know it more than anybody.
It doesn't tell me everything. It doesn't let me in on everything. It only says what it needs me to hear. What it wants me to hear, what it wants me to think.
I can help you. It's spoken to me as well. It speaks of a world without death. It speaks of a world where it can simply create a chaotic abomination and then just send it on its way to wreak chaos of this world. But you tell me that it tells me that it's already begun. You tell Wolfgang Connolly that it's already begun and that it can't stop. I can help you tap into those memories. Allow me to help you, Fezziwig.
And go ahead and give me a roll. Oh, go ahead and give me a roll plus charm.
Come on. Ah, 10, yes!
And when Denir says memories, could I do empath check? Because I know a certain situation in which Denir had his memories probed, and that probably left some fear.
Oh, are you trying to hit Denir with this one?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Any moment now, roll 20.
Oh.
13.
13. All right. As Denir is mentioning this stuff, and you're just kind of monitoring him from his shadow, you glimpse all of these sessions that he went through when he was being inquisited upon by Tia and her wizards. You see the mental torment and torture that he was put through. You see the moments, like his waking nightmares. Every horrendous thing that the Bleeding God has forced him to do, forced him to say. You have pretty much privy access to some of Denir's deepest, darkest memories.
Now, do I see Tia's pet, a creature that was facilitating this?
When you were kind of glancing through his memories, Yes, you recall the abomination.
Now, here's a question. Can I craft illusions from the dreamscape?
I would say that as long as they are meant to provoke unrest or anxiety, then yeah, you could probably craft some stuff of your own.
Almost definitely. I would like to craft an illusion of the abomination, right behind Denir as he says memories, to give Fezziwig a glimpse of what he means.
Go for it. Give me a roll plus strange.
12.
Fezziwig kind of like shudders back for a moment, and Denir, I'll need you to re-roll your charm roll for a moment, as he now is being haunted. Just
That's a 7.
What's wrong? He falls back. If Denir turns to look, would it still be there?
Let's go no.
You felt like there was something behind you for a moment, Denir. And I will allow for a wits roll to try to challenge this.
Okay. Wow.
Snake eyes!
I love that. I love the story that this is telling.
You look behind you for a moment. There is nothing there. If this were a manga, I imagine just like a little chibi Phobos would be like the outline of him would be standing in your shadow, just whistling. But Fezziwig is kind of taken aback.
What's wrong?
I want to believe you, but how do I know you're just? How do I know you're not part of it? Messing with my mind.
I know a number. I know that you always wrote in your journal for the longest time to try to separate your will from his.
It's been so
long. I know
long.
the deal that you made. Go ahead.
It's been so long. It doesn't always sound the same. He's learned to mimic my voice in my own head.
He's good at that.
Sometimes I don't even know which thoughts are mine.
Denir gives a couple nods. He's real good at that. Lies, manipulation, everything is almost as though it was gifted to him to be able to corrupt and to twist and to bring those that he wishes down into madness. But I don't want to see you go down this path. I don't want to see what he has planned for you. He's told me the end game with you, Fezziwig. I don't want to see it happen. I don't want to see you become that.
Could I shift over to behind Fezziwig?
Shouldn't be too difficult for you.
All right.
With how
then
stealth
as
you are.
Denir... Oh, roll a stealth?
No, you're already very stealth. Oh. I mean, if you don't want Denir to notice you, then you'll have to make a new one.
Then I'll make a new one.
Then that answers that.
9.
Denir, you see some kind of shifting in the shadows. Nothing that really draws your attention. You can combat this with a wits roll if you would like.
Sure. That's an 8.
You notice nothing. Just kind of like it very well may have just been like an overhead cloud floating by, getting caught by the moon.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What is your plan here, Phobos?
As Denir says he doesn't want Fezziwig to go down this path, as in relation to corruption and whatnot, I'd like to create an illusion of Ramses' palto at the moment when he and Denir split off that fateful day.
All right, give me a roll plus strange.
That's a failure. That's a 6.
And as you attempt to morph this this being out of the shadows, Denir, you see this very kind of crude rendering. It's not that it's inaccurate as an image, but it is very obvious to you, Denir, immediately that Phobos is trying to fuck with you, as this image of Ramses' palto seems to swirl out of the shadows, kind of looking over his shoulder at you as he holds the as he holds the amalgamated crystal skull at the end of his staff.
I like to imagine the illusion is so stilted that it's not the crystal skull on the staff, it's Phobos' head.
Yeah, he didn't quite get a good rendering from your mind of what the crystal skull looked like, so it's just a mind flare head.
Despite the poorness of the illusion, there's still an effect. As Denir stares at it, his face goes through a number of emotions.
The world begins to kind of warp as you feel these feelings. This Fezziwig kind of starts looking around.
There's remorse, betrayal, heartache, loss. The loss is the heaviest, as is the betrayal. Denir closes his eyes as he looks away. And for the slightest second, there's mutterings in the background, almost too low to hear, but there. Cherish the ones that are there while you have them, because I'll take them from you one by one. But Denir stills himself after a few moments, and he forces his gaze back on Fezziwig.
As you mutter that phrase, you feel that same sort of velvety hiss around your body. And you can kind of feel Ketchy's presence. The words that you muttered, you hear them in your mind as if they're being directly spoken to you. And Fezziwig hears them as well. As do you, Phobos. Cherish what you have, for I will take them from you one by one. Fezziwig doesn't know where that sound came from, but he looks at you with this kind of understanding that he knows that came from you.
Denir slowly looks up. The look of pain still in his eyes. I don't want to lose you, Fezziwig. Not like the others. Help me. Please. Help me save you, Fezziwig.
If you think it's any good, there are a few holes in my memory. I think you were there for one. In the cavern. There was a man. They spoke, but I couldn't decipher what they were saying.
A man wearing blue, with a staff, with a crystal that the being took. He points behind Fezziwig. That man right there, right?
Would the image still be there when Fezziwig turns?
This time, yes.
The staff is a little odd. But
You're a little odd. Phobos says.
Go ahead and give me a roll plus body as an intimidation check.
13.
Oh,
He stumbles back towards the rock, tries to hold himself, but as he kind of presses against the rock falls through the ground. Ah! Found you again! You're not even trying to escape. It's odd. The clouds in the sky begin forming a face.
well, what can I say? You're my favorite. I'm your favorite. Seems only odd for me to just run out of here. We could spend so much time learning so much about each other.
Well, if it's Fezziwig you want FaceTime with, then...
How about a cloud of mist kind of swarms around you for a moment, and as the cloud dissipates, it dissipates in a trail. 4 jesters pop up around you as the cloud passes them by.
That seems familiar, doesn't it?
They each pull out their blade.
Could I try to make an illusion for these jesters to see?
Go ahead and give me an empath roll first. Go ahead and roll plus strange.
11.
These don't appear to be specifically actual entities, more manifestations created by the being floating above you and around you that you may be existing with inside of right now.
So nothing left of actual Fezziwig in those illusions, more or less.
So it would seem.
And I rescind my illusion attempt.
They begin to encroach on you, Denir. Blades held aloft.
Denir reaches out, holding up a single edge of his cloak, almost like a stage magician for a moment. Now you see me? And he spins, bringing his cloak around, trying to sweep it over both Ketch and Phobos, almost as though he was attempting to mimic Wolfgang as he's dimension dooring.
All right, so you're just attempting to blast yourself out of this area.
I am disappearing from here to the caves.
All right, go ahead and give me a roll plus strange.
12.
As you flurl out your cloak, the stars begin to shimmer and shine. As you sweep it in front of you, the cloak overtakes Phobos, overtakes Ketchy, as the blades begin to jab at the cloak. It kind of swirls in on itself, and you are gone.
Very amusing indeed.
You find yourself kind of hurtling through the darkness again. Once again, you've found your way back to the space in between spaces in Fezziwig's mind as you try to navigate your way towards the memory of the cave.
Mm-hmm.
You can go ahead and give me another roll plus strange.
Okie doke. That's an 11.
Sure enough, you're actually getting quite used to this. Navigating his mind, although more difficult than manipulating the dreams of others that you've tried to manipulate, just due to the fact that there happens to be a deitic entity kind of holding sway over it.
Yeah, this is more akin to when I was fighting in Garrick's Mind for his soul than just, popping in to say, hey, how's it going? You want to have some tea?
But with a bit more mastery, as you seem to understand how to freely navigate now. It's clear that your powers of manipulating the mind have gotten significantly better. And as you stand in this darkness, you start to hear the sounds of bats fluttering around, the dripping of condensation from stalactites. And you find yourself in a familiar silver mine outside of Silver Rock.
Did you accomplish what you were seeking to do?
Who are you asking?
Phobos.
In a manner of speaking, yes. You did not run this time. You faced it. Your friend, though, could use a bit of a pick-me-up. He seems weak and cowardly.
After so long of corruption having its hold in you, it does things to a person. Terrible things to them. I fear what it will continue to do to them.
Once again, due to your strange role, you get glimpses again through Denir's mind of his the forms of corruption that he has taken on, most notably the feelings that were running through his mind as he pointed a staff at a golden king.
Yes, your fears are many. Regicide among them.
That feeling is very, very close to Denir, the surface of Denir's mind, giving the memory that you are visiting.
That particular memory also holds a lot of regret, a lot of loss. And it is one of the biggest features of Denir losing himself to the darkness that you saw earlier in the when you first met Denir.
Do you fear that memory? Are you afraid to see it once more?
I hurt a lot of people with that. One careless action, one weakness, one moment of my shield being down. And it cost me Garrick. It cost me so many people. It cost Dragon's Rest.
And
Yes.
at that, Phobos is going to look directly at Denir. That mind flayer smile, and he will say, "It's a wonder it didn't cost you your friends."
It nearly did. That's why I'm going to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Like you did with Ramses.
As he says that, you hear, kind of echoing off in the distance, the familiar tone of his voice. In not necessarily a hushed conversation. It's too distant right now, unless you want to make you can go ahead and make a wits roll to see if you can determine what he's saying from here, but...
Oh yeah, Denir is hurrying along towards it with an 8.
As you get closer, you start to... You're able to discern where he is, like where the voice is coming from, as you travel through this memory. You don't catch, like, the beginning of the conversation, but as you round the corner, having not made yourself known quite yet, you do see Ramses Palto standing with his staff and his gem adorned upon it.
Oh, so that's what I got wrong.
The jester and Ramses stand across from each other in that opening where you found Ramses wounded. So, which one am I talking to now exactly? Is it the driver or the passenger? More importantly, which one of you believes which is which? The jester just kind of tilts his head. You seem to know much. More than I'd let on. Now, are you master or are you pawn? I decide my own fate. He pulls out his blade and starts gesturing towards, starts kind of like walking towards Ramses. Now. I'm simply here to talk. You do want to talk, don't you? I don't have anything to say to you. As he's about to stab Ramses, his arm just kind of freezes. The gem begins to glow at the hand guard. What are you... Ramses, or the jester's body kind of goes slack for a moment. Ramses, who was standing in kind of like a defensive position, like, oh shit, I'm about to get stabbed, begins to lean forward. Hello? Kind of clacks his staff on the ground a little bit. And the jester's head springs up, kind of taking Ramses by surprise a little bit. He stammers back a little. Did I have you for a moment? So, this is who you are then. This is who I am for now. For now? This is the body you've chosen. Yes. It seems very willing. Quite spry, quite powerful. Moreover, it's slowly learning to follow orders. How long has your body just been a husk, exactly? About a dozen or so murders ago, I'd say. So, you're fully supported by this one, then. And this is everything. If you die here, that's it? Or does your essence go... He points to the gem on his staff. What is it you're insinuating exactly? I've just felt the rumblings. It's really hard to keep it all from me, you know that. Everything that you're thinking. You're looking for a new body. And I was thinking we might be able to come to an arrangement. I'm listening. You've gathered here specifically for the summit. Clearly you're wishing to take over the form of something more powerful. Say, a dragon? You're not impressing me. You know that, right? Just because you can read the waves of energies and whatnot through my own mind. Fuck you, is what I'm saying. Ho ho ho. So, we have hit that then. How do you intend to get that body? Just need to corrupt him with enough energy. Is that so? then I think perhaps we might be of assistance to each other after all. You leave the north to me. All of the power that I've gathered through these crystals, you won't need them when you have a new body, will you? I suppose I won't. Then in return, I can help you with your corruption. This land is filled with remnants of your body or whatever it was. It shouldn't be too hard to find a willing participant. One might be on their way right now. I don't need you for this. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But wouldn't it be easier? Because without me, my, all you are is a elf? You know what? You have a deal. Splendid. As Ramses kind of turns his back, then all we need now is a shink! And Ramses gets stabbed through the back by the jester's blade. I never liked you. I thought you should know that. You hear the clacking of feet. As he slumps to the ground, you see him kind of reach for his head. And a memory flashes through your mind, Denir. The sending message. His SOS.
He played me like a damn fool.
And that one has to sting, considering it's at the heart of your fear of this place.
Denir starts walking inside slowly. Looking over at the pair. Is the memory still frozen, or is it frozen, or is it still playing?
The memory is still playing as the jester who pulled the blade out kind of like takes a moment, grasps his face. Get out of my head! I am the... He looks down at Ramses. Well, I didn't much like you anyway, if it's all fair. Suppose I should finish you off then. Why act so quickly? Looking to make Master proud. He's not my master. Really? Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like there's only one driver. And it's not you, my boy. Go on. Prove me right.
Prove him wrong.
And as he postures... Oh, you speak out?
Mm-hmm. Prove to him that you are your own man.
Once again, the memory freezes, and the world violently begins to shake as Ramses kind of freezes, this look of you poor soul kind of on his face as he's looking up at the jester. The jester looks over at you. Wait. Holds his blade towards you. No. This is a dream. We've
You're
spoken
right.
before.
Denir gives a nod. You're the one who told me to come here.
Yes.
Because of a gap in your memory.
Yes.
You've shown us
I
a
don't
great
remember
deal.
what happened. I don't remember how I stabbed him.
You didn't. He did. The two of you made a deal for a new body. He plans to betray you, Fezziwig. Why not let's get back at him just a little bit? For all the pain that he's caused, all the suffering. You said there's other gaps in your memory. Other plans. He walks over. As he does, he glances over at Ramses. That same look of bitterness in his eyes. But this time, there's a little bit of an angrier look. Knowing the extra information that he was practically served up on a silver platter. To Red. Where are the other gaps in your memory? Times when you don't remember.
There are too many of them. Some lasted for days at a time. I believe those were killing sprees. But one other remains the...
Denir leans forward slowly. Where?
There was a moment. A moment when I met with the man of black and white.
Solomon.
Yes.
So the jester made some kind of interaction with Solomon. Interesting.
I remember showing up. I remember pleading with him. He made some comment and I blacked out for a moment. The next thing I knew, he was upset, and then I was thrown in a cage. And then I found you again.
What were you going to say, Arkal?
In this memory, is Ramses on the ground still?
Yes. Yeah, he's kind of like frozen in place.
Alright, then, as Fezziwig is mentioning pleading with Solomon, could I manipulate Ramses' form to be that of Fezziwig's sister? Bleeding out on the ground? Perhaps with the jester's mask over her face?
You can. Go ahead and give me a roll plus strange.
That's a 9.
On the ground, to the side of Fezziwig, the shadows begin to weave. And the form of Ramses Palto takes on the stripped form of a very lovely, fair-looking elf, kind of bleeding out on the ground, and on her face sits the mask of the Jester of Bordeaux.
Can I counter that and use my own willpower to revert it right back to Ramses Palto?
As this is a partial success, I will allow you to combat that with your own strange roll to see if Fezziwig notices or not.
9.
Ooh!
Well, this is a dilemma. So the way it will play out is as such. He'll notice that the shadows shifted, and he'll glance over. For a moment, his face is shocked with fear, and as he's kind of taken aback by this vision of his eviscerated sister wearing wearing this form that he's come to hate, he'll cover his eyes for a moment, and then he'll open his eyes back up, and it'll just be Ramsey sitting there again.
It's okay. I saw it too. Something here's trying to stop me. Something here is fighting back against me. It'll be okay, Fezzi. We'll get through this.
He takes the mask off his face. Throws it down the cavern. Tink, 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 tink.
That's the first step. Even as it seems darkest, even when it feels like he's won, he wants you to give up. Don't. I know that you've been fighting for so long, and I know that you're so tired. But just keep on just a little bit longer for me, Fezziwig. And with that, a trend is starting to form. Denir will offer his hand to Fezziwig.
Go ahead and give me a roll plus charm.
That's another 9.
He looks at your hand. He looks down at his still kind of wet with the blood of Ramses' palto. He looks over towards you and he starts to reach out. When this form from the darkness yoinks him down the cavern of the cave.
You can't keep him away forever.
It would seem he's afraid of losing his plaything.
Afraid of losing Fezzi? Oh, no, no, no. What you're doing is what you would say a minor inconvenience. I have all the time in the world to bend him back to my will. Besides, when he wakes up, this will all have been a dream, won't it? Who's to say what's real and what's not in a dream?
Dreams have a way of changing things in a person.
Ramses has turned back into the naked form of Fezziwig's sister wearing the mask. Nice touch, by the way. It begins to kind of dance this macabre pirouette.
I will accept the compliment. From one being of fear to another, despite our disagreements.
Oh. She really was a fetching thing, wasn't she? He says, kind of like jutting like one of the hips out to one side with a kind of like this kind of sassy pose.
She is near and dear to your puppet's heart. The most conspicuous string to pluck.
She is indeed.
I don't like how chummy you two are getting.
Oh, come now. There's no reason for us to be uncivil. We're playing a game after all, aren't we?
Fair.
What depends is how you respond, Somnium Vagus. Will you give in to fear? Or will you conquer it?
The body of Fezziwig's sister actually kind of drapes itself around Phobos.
Ooh, indeed. What will it be? Somnium.
And he kind of like reaches out to kind of boop you on the nose.
Show me the face of my fears, and I will stare it in the eyes. And Denir again snaps his fingers. And he wants to go to a place that he never thought he would go to again willingly.
Where are you trying to transport yourselves?
The throne room of Solomon Lieben Todd.
Go ahead and give me a roll plus strange.
That's a 9.
As the world begins to kind of shake and shudder around you, it begins to kind of splinter. See you soon. And the rocks begin to fall and clatter. And you find yourself tumbling down. You look down, you see the throne room beneath your feet. And you land in the back of the room. There, sitting on the throne, his legs perched up on his drow leg rest, kind of leaning to one side, resting his chin on one of his open palms, leaning against an armrest. You see Fezziwig just kind of bowing his head, kneeling on the ground. His arms and his legs are in shackles. Several drow are beside him, each pointing a drawn arrow at him, some pointing spears at him. Guys, he gets it. Fucking back off. Jesus. What's he gonna do at this point, really? I mean, really. So, you want your sister back? Is that you came all the way here? You tracked me down for that. Yes, Lord Solomon. My family passed down tales of your kindness. Please. She's all I have, and the other one that's offering to bring her back, I don't trust it. The other one? The other one? What other one? It's attached itself to me. This power, this being, it says it can... It says it can conquer death itself, and Solomon kind of kicks the drow that was at his feet. His eyes glow, like the galaxies that are within his eyes begin to kind of like strike out and glow. He holds out his hands, and Fezziwig starts to levitate off the ground in agony. You come in here and you threaten my fucking mom? Who the fuck do you think you are? I have half a mind just to rip your soul out of you right now, replace it with a goddamn Cocker Spaniel! And you see him kind of like struggle and like kind of tense his hand. What the... He starts to actually kind of like struggle as if he's like trying to do something. You see this energy glowing around Fezziwig. What the fuck are you? Fezziwig, who's been in agony this entire exchange, just kind of slumps forward. And then his face cranes up with this massive smile. Ah! It's the coward! What the hell did you just say to me? He starts kind of clenching his fist as Fezziwig starts to slowly drift back down to the ground. Why were you so scared last time, then, if you were this strong? Stop, it tickles. What do you mean last time? Oh, it hasn't been that long, has it? What's 1,000 years in a pit? Bullshit.
Boo.
What the hell do you... The entire world freezes.
So that's it, huh? Denir starts walking forward slowly.
The walls begin to kind of shift. The world begins to warble again. You hear that same stone against stone crunching noise of destabilization.
Is the jester still completely frozen, or is he still moving around?
Seems to have lost consciousness. Fezziwig is just sort of laying there. As you glance around the room, trying to take stock of everything, slowly but surely little things begin to change. Drow begin disappearing one by one. Anytime you change your, anytime you change your perception, like kind of turning your head, something changes when you turn back. The room starts getting emptier and emptier.
So basically, can I attempt to roll strange to try to stabilize the dream again?
Sure.
Oh no, I'm losing it. That's a snake eyes.
You feel something else. This is different from Red. This is different from the bleeding god trying to insert its will.
Mm-hmm.
This is something different as the room kind of begins to shake and quiver. Roots begin forming in the ground. These white roots that start pulsing red. And sure enough, rising from beneath Solomon's throne, kind of crumbling all of the rocks beside of it, the tree that you came to recognize as the bleeding god begins to swell up in the center of the room, which the walls begin to kind of fall away. The ground begins to swell with that thick blood. Fezziwig begins to move again.
Oh, fucking finally. This asshole takes forever.
The tree begins
to erupt out of the ground, the roots spinning, churning, and wrapping itself into that same twisted, old, gnarled willow.
You were buying time for him to show up.
I was, unfortunately.
The tree stands before you. The eye opens.
Ah, Somnium Vagus, I presume.
The mask goes on. Been a while since we spoke.
Not so long.
A split appears at the center of the eye. The eye begins to part. From inside, you see a pink glow. And then slowly emerging is the form of Ramses Palto, dressed no longer in his sheets of blue, now crimson, etched in, with gold embroidery. Hello, Denir.
Ramses? Or should I call you Asmodeus now?
Oh, no. That's kind of gestures towards the jester. His thing.
Denir's eyes are locked on Ramses, even though he's starting to pace a little bit. He's got that nervous tick, that almost nervous energy, almost like a cat watching a predator. But his eyes never leave Ramses.
I sense much hostility from you, my friend.
What can I say? I've begun to unravel that web you've weaved.
What web do you believe you've unraveled?
You practically tried to serve me up as a new body for him. He motions over towards the jester.
Jester kind of gives that little tiddly-fingered wave. Oh my, no. No, never. Never in 1,000 years, Denir.
Then who's the new body you spoke of?
I believe if reports are true, it's a giant red dragon.
Denir gives a little bit of a grin. Didn't fully succeed on that one.
Perhaps not the initial one, no, but the one that exists, I'm sure he is quite eager to find.
The one that exists, he's eager to find. Is he? Can I empath that to get further meaning? If there's already a second dragon, and Garrick is looking for it, or if somebody's looking for Garrick.
You can go ahead and give me a roll plus strange for that to try to...
10.
I mean, the giant red dragon that burned down Dragon's Rest, that does seem like a powerful body for a god. So, that being that Garrick became is clearly a part of this overall plan.
Interesting.
Now, I'm as curious as you are as to what exactly this thing has in mind. But tracking it down has been so difficult, which is why, my friend, I believe I have you to thank. Now I know exactly where you are.
Really now?
Yes.
Where am I?
You're in another dimension. Amazing. Did you actually find Arcanos?
I did. I told him what you've been doing.
All good things, I hope. Kind of like arcs an eyebrow a little.
Well, holding a revolution and oceans of blood are less than keen. I did tell him about the school that you and I made. He seemed happy about that.
I do hope to get back to it someday, once the world is ready for our people. Once the world understands that we are not to be feared. Or more so, we are not to be trifled with. We are the next stage, of course. The next step in mortal kind.
Fear is not to be a weapon. Fear keeps you alive. Fear keeps you safe.
Which makes it a wonderful tool.
A tool of a tyrant. Barristan Kinch used fear. And look what happened to him.
I understand where our philosophical differences lie. You did not grow up the way I did, Denir.
No. No, I didn't. But I still know the looks of an outsider whenever you walk into town. I still know the looks of being different. And even those that will grow to your closest friends looking at you like you're a spectacle when you first see them. I didn't walk your path. But I've seen shades of it. Even now. 2 arcane innate walking different paths. But the difference is, I'm going to show people the right way to do it. I'm not going to lead a revolution. I'm not going to kill hundreds, thousands to prove a point. It's still not too late, Ramses. You can still turn away from this.
I'm afraid I can't, my friend. And as for you...
He looks over towards the jester. Just kind of sitting there, like, knees kicked back. Kind of in that, like, Saturday night, like just... It kind of has his palms outstretched, chin resting on the back of his hands, legs kind of kicking up behind him.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was just I didn't realize I was a participant here. If you won't tell me your plans now, I will drag the information out of you when I see you. Amusing. But what are you going to do? I'm trapped in a vault behind the greatest arcane wards ever envisioned. All locks have a key. Denir, as your friend, I will offer you some parting advice.
What is that, Ramses?
Flee the feywild. Flee.
Why?
Because nothing will get in between me and what I'm after.
Denir's his eyes narrow to almost slits. So you plan to siege the citadel of the Master of Magic.
Plan to siege? Denir. It's already happened.
What?
I'd wake up if I were you. Farewell, my friend.
As he starts to walk back into the tree.
As he walks into the tree, Denir's face shifts into a multitude of anger, of rage, even more betrayal. And he snaps his fingers and he tries to pull himself out.
Go ahead and give me a roll plus strange.
12.
As you begin to close your eyes and focus, you just hear the laughter of Red, of the bleeding god of Asmodeus, cackling around you.
Thank you for playing! Game over.
And as you awaken, everybody around you has been trying to shake you awake for some time. And here's where we will end today's session.